So in this video, we got to talk about NIO's argument against the EREV domination and also what's going on right now in terms of poaching talent. So just to get that out of the way, right now there's that NIO Cup going on, which is of course the NIO University Cup. Basically top universities from around China and even some international ones around the world, they compete, they have their own EV race. Basically these are all pure electric vehicles that they built themselves, and then they compete, they have lap times, and whoever does the best wins the trophy, and of course a lot of grant money as well. And then there's that, and then there's also the autonomous driving race as well. So through this whole process, of course, it's hosted by NIO. NIO is funding a lot of the teams, and then also a lot of other guys are also funding teams as well. And through this process, NIO is able to get some of the top engineers from universities and get them to directly work for NIO. And you can see in this clip, NIO CEO is interviewing basically lots of these top competitors in this race and giving them like job offers basically on the spot, which is quite interesting. And it shows that NIO really prioritizes talent in their company, which is definitely very, very nice. Now, going back to this whole entire EREV domination, because for the past few years, EREVs have sold like crazy. Of course, Li Auto starting the whole trend, all right, with their first Li Auto, Li 1, basically. And then afterwards, a lot of other companies have followed suit, Leap Motor, and then BYD with their hybrids, of course, all selling like crazy. Leap Motor, they've been selling like crazy. Of course, Ito recently selling like crazy as well. And even Xpeng has jumped on the bandwagon with the Xpeng X9 Super Hybrid, marking their first hybrid vehicle ever, which is quite shocking because, if you think of Xpeng, they're sort of like almost a direct, like Chinese version of Tesla. That's what people would call them. But now they have a hybrid going on. It's clearly, the priority clearly isn't like a greener future or something like that, but more so to have a grasp of everything, basically, right? They got robots, they got flying cars, now they got hybrids as well. They're doing everything. So that's kind of crazy. But then on this aspect, right now, there's this diversion of technology. Basically, there's two routes that people are going for. People are either going for pure EV, like NIO is, right? And of course, NIO also has battery swap. And then you also have other guys going for these large battery hybrids, large battery EREVs that are offering similar experiences to pure electric vehicle, like pure EV sort of ownership experience, meaning you can really drive far, you can use pure EV the whole time, you don't have to worry about range anxiety, and at the same time you have this gas tank and generator that can give you the extra boost when you don't want to charge, or when you're at like desert or somewhere like remote where you don't have access to chargers. So NIO has really responded to this, about like this whole entire diversion of the industry. It seems like a lot of people are going for the big EREV, big battery EREV route, including Xpeng. So what is this whole about? What's his opinion on it? And this is quite interesting. And he said that there's two major drawbacks to EREVs. Like, even though he said it this explicitly, even though the batteries are very big, comparably bigger, you're still utilizing the EV, the pure electric usage is about 90, maybe 95% of the time, right? Before it might be like 80 or 85% of the time. And you're still at a situation where most of the time you're driving on pure electric. And then the EREV, the gas tank, and the generator are kind of extra. And to that extent, that really takes up a lot of space in the car. So you see a lot of EREVs, they do not have a frunk. Whereas with Onvo and the ESA, the frunk usage has been astronomical. They clocked in, so they did a measurement, they did a data survey. Apparently the frunk usage is around 2 times per week, basically. And it's pretty much like as much as the truck. Yeah. So on average, and this is with all the Enva owners, Enva L90 owners, and all the ES8 owners right now. So that's pretty staggering. Okay. And of course, with the extended range vehicles, you do have to compromise on space. So on space, in terms of interior space, you'll never have as much interior space or storage space as a pure electric vehicle. And also you're compromising on range because your battery will never be as big as a traditional electric vehicle, because you do have to make space for the EREV, for the generator. So your range actually, even though your per electric range is a lot, it's still not as much as a traditional EV like a NIO. And then on top of that, you are also compromising on a bit of performance, right? You're compromising on performance and efficiency because now the car has to be heavier because you have that generator and fuel tank. And then also and you also have increased costs when it comes to maintenance. Right? Maintenance is a huge problem because not only do you have to care about the battery, which is a huge maintenance factor, and with NIO you don't really have to worry about that because you have battery swap, but you also have to worry about the gas tank and the generator, and the gas tank has to be pressurized as well. So there's just more points of failure. There's more things that you have to take care of and manage with those EREVs. So your operating expenses are actually also higher in that aspect. So he talked about how when people look at what they're going to do when it comes to a product launch, you basically have to develop a product 2 to 3 years. That's how long it takes, 2 to 3 years. So when you build a product, you kind of have to foresee into the future of what people think will happen in the future. And for a lot of other companies, of course, they see that the future is hybrids and big battery hybrids. And even Xpeng CEO has told Onvo CEO that he foresees that the future will be hydrogen electric hybrids. That will be the ultimate form factor of hybrids in the far future, which is what Xpeng CEO has said. So there's a very clear, and it seems like there's going to be very distinct choices of technology. Which one you want? Do you want battery swap, pure electric? You can choose that. Do you want just a quick, fast charging traditional EV? You can go with that with a Tesla. Or do you want a big battery extended range cars? And of course, you also have that you can choose from. So your cars are all becoming very distinct in terms of their tech path going forward. And I think that's a good thing. Consumers have a lot of choice. There will always be people that just want battery swap. There will always be people that just want an EREV. And there's nothing wrong with that. And to Xpeng CEO's argument, if you go to a country or city that does not have the charging infrastructure, sometimes chargers are not well managed, are broken, or you don't have swap stations, then you would want a car that can, at least have a gas station as a backup, so you don't really have to worry about that. So you have that gas generator as a backup. So to that, I can also understand his point, right? So there will be a big divergence in market, and it seems like everybody will actually succeed in their own realms, okay? And then it's up to the consumer to really pick which technology route they want. Okay? And NIO CEO's perspective has been that pure EV with battery swap is the ultimate form factor for them, in their opinion, of course, right? Because you have the ultimate space, interior space, with so much interior space, so much frunk space, and then of course you have the convenience, super fast, right, to swap, and also of course you don't have to worry about battery maintenance. And I think that is the huge factor going into future, whether or not people buy a NIO or the competitors. So in that aspect, it seems like, NIO has made some very strong arguments for choosing a NIO vehicle, and I hope that consumers can also understand this. And at least here in China, the choice is very obvious. Okay, maybe not abroad, because even in the Middle East, NIO has pledged that they're going to be making hybrids. Yeah, NIO will be making hybrids for sale in Egypt because their infrastructure simply doesn't support pure EVs. Right? You're not going to find chargers everywhere. So here in China, pure EV battery swap will work 100%. Okay, so it's very interesting. But I do think that the big battery hybrids are a force to be reckoned with. And Li Auto, very soon they're going to be launching their updated L9, L8, L7. We've been seeing their sales slide, and it's for a reason. People know that the big battery L9, L8, L7s are coming, right? It's like what's happening with NIO's ES6 sales right now. ES6 sales not selling too well because people know there's the MT 3.0 generation. Why would I still buy that? Right? Why would I still buy the old generation technology? So, you could explain Li Auto's sales slide like that, but I'm kind of playing the devil's advocate here. But you got to understand that, the way things are, a lot of companies will have these large battery electric hybrids, and yeah, we got to watch out, all right? It's up to the sales rep to really convince customers to buy a NIO with battery swap. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think battery swap wins all the way? Or maybe in your country you don't have battery swap stations, right? What's the logical choice here, right? As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.